Yo, what's going on, everybody? It is Straight Out of Boston here. Today I'm back for episode number 1 of a brand new series on my channel. We are starting up Out of the Park Baseball 17. It is out for those who did a pre-order. You would have gotten the game on Friday. For everyone else, it does come out on Tuesday. You can buy it at that point, and it will be open to the public, but the only people who do have access to the beta version are the people that did pre-order, as I said. So we're taking on the task of general managing the Boston Red Sox. That is the team that I'm going to start out with for my first OOTP 17 series. I'll probably do another live commentary one at some point in the future, but for now, I'm going to be doing a post-com one, much like this commentary, and I'm going to be doing it with the Boston Red Sox. Not really a full-on rebuild, but definitely a team that I love using in games like this. I almost always do a Red Sox series, and a lot of you guys wanted to see me play the Red Sox one that I had gotten up to like 2085 on in OOTP 16, but never really played that much after I made that one video. So I figured it would be a good opportunity to start up a new series using the Red Sox with OOTP 17 coming out. So take a look at some of our top prospects. Yoan Moncada, definitely one of the top position player prospects in baseball. He's a guy that we're probably going to be building around in the future. And Anderson Espinoza, by far our best pitching prospect. You can take a look at some of his ratings right there. So messing around with the game settings here, I decided one thing I wanted to do was change the name of the awards, and I wanted to show off what initial changes I like to make to the game settings. Because there aren't a lot of changes between the OOTP games from year to year, at least not like with the game's like system or how it really works. A lot of these settings changes I pretty much carried over from previous OOTP games. But there are some new changes in this year's game. I know one of them is that they do have the minor leagues, for if you do an historical save, the minor leagues are historically accurate, whereas in the past they hadn't always been filled out with the proper prospects and all that stuff. So that is going to make doing historical saves a lot more fun, and definitely something I'm going to be doing this year. I'm probably going to be doing an historical series at some point, but we'll see in the future. Anyway, take a look at the top position players entering the season, and this was one I was surprised that Kevin Kiermaier ranked at number 10. And then top pitchers, you can see David Price checking in there at number 12. He was the only player we had in either top 20 list. But anyway, we are ready to kick off the first season, so I'm going to be running through the first 3 months of the season in this episode. We open up the year in Cleveland, and you can see we end up actually going to lose 2 of 3. We do salvage the series by winning the third game, but continuing the simulation here, we start out pretty slow, only 2-5, but now we pick up a win in Baltimore, or against Baltimore, I should say, after losing the home opener. We do take 2 of 3 from them, and then we start to turn things around here with the Patriots Day Weekend series against Toronto. We're going to end up demolishing them in that 11:05 game, and we take 3 of 4 from the reigning AL East champs. Brandon Workman does get back from the DL. He had been recovering from Tommy John surgery, so we're going to send him to AAA, and if he does have a good start to the season down in Pawtucket, then we could see him back at the major league level at some point. But anyway, take a look at what the lineups and some of the statistics are as we finish off the month of April. You can see definitely being carried on offense by the likes of Xander Bogaerts and Dustin Pedroia, but our pitching staff has definitely been a disappointment. David Price, a 4.23 ERA so far through his first career 6 starts with the Boston Red Sox. We'll see if he can improve on that as the season goes on. Now continuing forward with the simulation into the month of May, we're 15-13 so far, and really with this team this year, I do want to contend for a playoff spot, try to make the playoffs and see what we can do from there. Definitely not looking for another rebuild. The Red Sox invested a lot of money in a guy like David Price in the offseason with the hopes of returning to baseball in October, and that's definitely going to be one of our goals this season. We definitely want to make the playoffs, so we're going to do everything in our power to come through on that goal and return to the postseason for the first time since 2013. So browsing the waiver wire here as we continue simulating towards the end, or actually right around the middle of the month of May. Now we're moving towards the end of it. We've got an interleague series coming up here against Colorado, and you can see Jacob Turner on waivers. He is one guy I considered, but we play a doubleheader against Colorado, split that, and then win the third and win the rubber match of the series. So we take 2 of 3. And, starting to play a lot better now. We're up to 27-21, good 6 games above 500, and that's a pretty solid pace. You can see we're down in 3rd place now. Baltimore has really come back to earth after they started the year 20-5, but Tampa Bay is having a pretty good month of May, so they've moved up to 2nd place. Jackie Bradley goes down with an injury. He's going to be out for a couple of weeks, and then you can see David Ortiz gets recognized as the batter of the month in the AL. He had a very, very good month, but Mookie Betts does go down. He's also going to miss 2 weeks, so our outfield looking pretty thin right now. We had to make a couple call-ups from the minor leagues. We're going to call up David Murphy and Alan Craig. So we put Chris Young full-time at center field. I had been platooning him with Jackie Bradley, but with Bradley out, we moved him to the full-time center fielder, and then Murphy and Craig are going to platoon in right. So that is what we're going to have to do while we are missing 2 of our starting outfielders. Obviously, pretty untimely injuries right there. Definitely would have rather had those injuries stagger as opposed to having to use guys like Alan Craig and David Murphy. So now we're getting into the most important part of this episode, and that is the first-year player draft. We've gotten through the first 2 months of the season, and so here we go. We are going to be picking number 12 in the draft, and you can see right there, Dominic Foscalina is available, but he is, looking like he's going to be impossible to sign because he has a pretty big demand, and it's pretty clear that he wants to return to college. So I immediately knew that we weren't going to be spending an early round pick on him, but if he did make it to the later rounds, I might take a chance on him and just see if we can throw some money at him and get him to sign. Our first pick, we're going to go with Michael Sanborn, the pitcher right here. He is a southpaw, and he should be a big piece of our future rotation as he's got 5-star potential both with the OSA ratings and with the head scout. You can see looking at a couple other guys here, Kevin Rolliard is one, Edward Reese another, but a couple of these guys were impossible. They had impossible demands, so we knew it was going to be tough to get them to sign. One guy we knew we wouldn't have a problem signing was Tremaine Spears. He had a 4.5-star potential as a position player. I thought that would be pretty good in the second round. Then Bo Bichette here, another pretty good position player prospect. Our head scout really likes him, so we're going to go with him in the 4th round there. Now skipping ahead to the 5th round, and we can see Foscalina still there, as well as Edward Reese and Kevin Rolliard there. But we see Jonathan Heasley, and he looked like a pretty good prospect for a 5th round pick. So he's another starter, a guy who hopefully will be a part of our rotation in the future. And then Nathan Blakeney, he's got a 4.5-star potential according to our head scout, but 3.5-star according to the OSA. So it's one of those where we're going to trust our head scout here, take a little bit of a chance on him, and see if he can pan out in the future. And then 7th round, I finally decided to pull the trigger and get Dominic Foscalina, see if we can just give him a ton of money and convince him to stay out of college and join us. And then, of course, Kevin Rolliard, we're going to do the same thing. He had very high demands, but we're going to see if we can get him signed and get him into the organization. If we could, that would be a steal of a pick right there in the 7th and 8th rounds with him and Foscalina. Now we're going to draft Jordan McFarland in the 9th round, and then Duncan Pence in the 10th round. You can see here pretty good position player prospects, so we're going to be taking him. And then I think I'm going to actually simulate the rest of this draft. I don't believe I wanted to pick anyone else. Really didn't have my eye on anyone in particular. So here we go. We are skipping ahead to the draft pick negotiation, and we're starting off with Foscalina. He is looking for $3.2 million. We're going to actually give him a $5 million signing bonus to try and convince him to sign on with the organization. Then Rolliard also looking for $3.2 million. We're going to offer him $4 million, not quite as much. Didn't want him quite as much as I wanted Foscalina, so I didn't think it was worth overexpending so much. But they actually both would sign on, so we got pretty good deals in that draft. A lot of good players. Definitely helped our farm system out. So we see Trevor Cahill on waivers. He was having a pretty good start to the year. We're going to claim him. He would be added to the bullpen. We would send Tommy Lane down. And then Ryan Hannigan here, he's going to get sent down to AAA after clearing waivers. We called up Christian Vasquez to take over the backup job. So here is a look at Foscalina. He does sign on. 5-star potential. He was so good for us in the Colorado Rockies OOTP series we did last year. And hopefully he can have similar success in a Boston Red Sox uniform. So here we get Jackie Bradley back from injury. We're also going to be getting Mookie Betts back the next day as we are hitting the middle of the month of June right now, and there he is, Betts, coming back. We'll see if he can turn it on here in the final couple weeks of June. Once we get to the end of June, I'll end off the episode, and we will be doing the months of July, August, and September in the next episode. So anyway, moving towards the end of the month of June here, taking on the Chicago White Sox in a 3-game series. We win the final 2, actually take 2 of 3. And then Brandon Morrow, is going to be on waivers as well. And I was looking at him. He had a pretty solid start to the year out of the bullpen, and we were really struggling with the back end of our rotation. I thought, let's give Morrow a claim. Why not? He's only making $500,000 this year. We're going to send Joe Kelly to Pawtucket. His ERA was over 5 this season, and we think he could benefit from some more time in Pawtucket. Might be the end of the line for Joe Kelly. If he does get back into the rotation at the big league level this year, he's definitely going to have to prove himself to keep a spot on this roster moving forward. And Eduardo Rodriguez also struggling a little bit this season, but we're going to hope he turns it around. He's got a pretty nice strikeout to walk ratio right now, so hopefully it's just been some bad luck. Chris Young goes down with an injury, but we win the final game in the month of June, so we are 43-35 at this point of the season, about halfway through the year, and that is where we're going to end off the episode. We do end it off in first place, though. We win our last game, and then New York and Baltimore have both struggled a little bit lately. Tampa Bay back to the cellar of the division, but everyone within just 4 games of each other, so it's a very tightly contested AL East at this point in the season, and that is going to do it. So hope you guys did enjoy this episode. Hope you guys enjoyed the new format of the OOTP videos. These are going to make it a lot easier for me to make these while I'm at school, and hopefully things are going to be a little bit more concise and a little bit more condensed than in previous OOTP series. But I hope to do a live comm series at some point in the future, probably when I am back for summer vacation. But until then, this is how the videos will be formatted for the near future. So that is going to do it. Hope you guys enjoy. Thanks for watching, and I'm out. Peace.